Have you ever heard of Ronald Reed, a simple janitor who left about $8 million saved when he died in 2014? That's right, a janitor, a millionaire. And it wasn't because of luck, inheritance, or lottery prize. He simply did two things very well throughout his life. He saved consistently and allowed compound interest to work in his favor. The big lesson here is that, in most cases, the way you handle money is more important than your level of intelligence. Even without a famous degree or a job on Wall Street, it is possible to build wealth with solid financial habits. As Morgan Housel summarizes, financial success is not an exact science, but a behavioral skill. And behavior matters more than knowledge. If you dedicate a few minutes to this content, you can develop exactly that skill. This is a summary of the 5 main lessons from the book The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. 1. Every gain has a price. Imagine you want to buy an expensive watch to impress your friends and the person you are dating. When you enter the store, you realize there are 2 options: pay for it or simply steal it and run away. Obviously, you would choose to pay because you understand that everything has a cost. In the world of investing, it's exactly the same. Big results require a price to be paid, and that price is called volatility. Concentrated portfolios can generate higher returns, but they also suffer more intense drops. If you cannot handle seeing your assets fall 20% in a single week, then you cannot expect extraordinary returns. Imagine having invested heavily in Netflix 10 years ago. Today, you would be extremely wealthy. But would you have been able to handle the drops of up to 80% it experienced along the way? Investing isn't about choosing the right company. It's about being able to endure the journey to the end. Even S&P 500 investors have gone through entire years when the market was 20% below its peak, and that is part of the game. Volatility is not a flaw. It is the price paid for great rewards in the future. 2. It never seems to be enough. If a person receives a $2 million bonus, they are happy, until they find out that someone else received $2,001,001. The system we live in is excellent at 2 things: creating wealth and provoking comparison. The problem is that there is always someone richer, in a bigger house, with a better car. A doctor who earns $500,000 a year, for example, is already at the top of society. But when comparing himself to a CEO who earns $10 million or to a billionaire, he may feel small. And this endless comparison leads people to go into debt, take unnecessary risks, sacrifice family and mental health. At some point in your journey, you must define what is enough. It is not worth trading what you already have and need for something you only want but do not truly need. 3. What seems crazy depends on your point of view. You may find it strange that someone spends hundreds of dollars a year on lottery tickets, even without having an emergency fund. But that person may see it as their only chance at changing their life. Each individual makes decisions based on their own reality, experiences, and opportunities. When we understand this, we stop copying strategies that make no sense for us, comparing our journey with someone else's, entering investments we don't understand. This helps us develop a strategy that is aligned with our own goals. 4. Crises cannot be predicted, but you can prepare. Some of the greatest events in history, such as wars, economic crises, and pandemics, could not be accurately predicted. These are called black swans, rare, impactful events that only seem obvious after they happen. For example, if you had stayed out of the market only during the 4 best days of the last 20 years, your return would have been almost cut in half. The lesson is clear. Those who try to predict the market usually fail. Those who prepare for any scenario survive. More important than predicting crises is being ready to face them. 5. Pessimism attracts more attention than progress. Good news is usually slow and quiet. Bad news is fast, dramatic, and attention-grabbing. Because of this, we tend to believe more in those who talk about crises and collapses than in those who talk about progress and growth. But when we look at the long term, the world has advanced in health, technology, education, and quality of life. Pessimism captures attention, but it is rational optimism that builds the future. Be careful with advice based only on fear. Conclusion: if you want to grow financially, remember, every return demands a price. Comparison is a silent poison. Each person sees the world differently. Don't try to predict chaos. Prepare for it. Fear sells, but discipline builds. And the most important rule of all, never risk what you already have and need for something you don't have and don't truly need.